Hi everyone, sorry Frampton Unplugged has been a bit quiet for the last few weeks. I've unfortunately come down with a variety of illnesses, hit by a cold and tonsillitis and a bunch of other things, so sorry there hasn't been as much content as normal. However, what I did manage to fit in just before I got ill was a great interview with a young entrepreneur, Timothy Armoo, who runs a business called Fanbytes, which started around how to nail content on social through Snapchat and is now expanding that out. He interviewed me around some of my learnings as previous CEO of Fanbytes and the advice that I'd give to young people and grads trying to get into the marketing and ad industry. So here's the video. Hope you enjoy it. Speak soon.
So, welcome to the first episode of Learning from the OGs. We just came up with that term right now.
It doesn't mean old guys, just to be clear.
Learn from the OGs, where I interview seasoned experts in the world of marketing and advertising to understand how they got to where they were and just their mindset. My aim is to basically help a bunch of you guys here to really understand not only the world of marketing and advertising, but also what it means to be a leader from someone who has done it and got the t-shirt, right? So the first person for our first ever episode is Mr. Paul Frampton here, ex-CEO of Havas and also chair of the Big Youth Group, who are doing some amazing stuff when it comes to really getting young people to take action and become entrepreneurs. So I'm gonna hand it over to Paul to tell us a bit about himself. 30 seconds, the 30 second.
So very quickly, 30 seconds, the clock's going.
Go!
I've worked in the marketing and ad industry for 20 years. I now advise a lot of startups and a lot of young founders, but the piece I'm doing with Big Youth Group and chairing it is to help improve the odds for young people, whether you're trying to get a job for the first time or start up a business or grow a business. It's designed to help bring the right connections and content together to help people do that. So that's probably as much as you need to know, and you will learn more through the rest of this video.
Cool, let's go.
It's a really interesting question, actually. I think there are probably two. The first was about a year in, working in the media industry. The culture used to be very adversarial, very macho, very banterish, and I didn't really like it. It was quite a scary culture as a young grad coming into. I mean, it was fun. People went to the pub a lot. It was a lot of fun, but you were dragged into the office at 7 a.m, had to stay there till 10 p.m. and fill in spreadsheets, which I didn't ever know what the purpose of those spreadsheets were, and no one bothered to tell me. So I decided quite early on that I wanted to get into a more senior position to try and shape the culture. Because to me, if you're in the creative industries, what you should be doing is actually opening people's minds and connecting with the seeking part of the brain so that they start to experiment and be creative. Whereas actually a fear-driven culture shuts down that part of your brain and makes you do only the things that you think you're being directed to do. So that was the first one. The second one was I spent a lot of time buying magazines, buying press for clients, buying TV, and I thought it was a little bit dull, to be honest. I thought it was very formulaic. There wasn't a lot of invention in it, there wasn't a lot of innovation in it, and I started to stumble across the internet and it didn't have any rules. And I've always been a bit of a maverick, so I liked the fact that there were less tramlines around it. So I thought about, okay, if I move into that business, two things will happen. One, if I get into it earlier, it will pay off because I will be in a much smaller pool. And if I become an expert, then, and it paid off, I became an expert in terms of commenting on the digital industry and built strong relationships with all of the editors and journalists of New Media Age, Revolution, mags that don't even exist anymore. And that's held me in good stead until today in terms of the following of people that I have. But also making sure that I was close to all of the new trends. Back in the day, whether that was search engine marketing, pre-Google, whether it was display, when mobile came along, when social came along, being very close to all of those things because I knew in my gut that those things would grow. And it took me a while as a leader to work out that you need to believe your gut instincts. And I'm sure there are a lot of young people that think, I believe this is going to happen, but maybe I'm not right. There aren't many people talking about it. Luckily, social exists, so you can check a little bit more easily with the community and go, am I dumb? Or LinkedIn, you do it very well actually. If I'm thinking this, do other people think it? Back then, it was like a vacuum. And to begin with, I wasn't very sure about my belief, but now, today, I just go with my gut. And I think I think that's gonna actually grow, and then I will do my utmost to try and convince and influence other people that they should go down that path. my view of that would be one, have clarity about the destination, where you're going. I often talk to people I mentor or people in my teams about know where you're sailing for. And then if you know where you're sailing for in the distance, and the distance is 3-5 years away, everyone always asks that in an interview and everyone's a little bit uncomfortable. I think you need to know as yourself, where do I want to get to? And then your job as an individual or as a company is to make sure that come hell or high water, pirates, storms, kind of tsunamis, pirates, all of those things, that you keep going to that place. So be clear on what you want to, where you want to get to, and be selfish about it. Because if you don't, you'll disappear into your 9-to-5 desk job, and you'll just turn up to deliver your to-do list, and you'll take your eye off actually where I wanted to be was there. So that would be the first one. The second was understand the system.
Interesting.
Understand how your boss works and what their priorities are, because that is the most important thing if you want to move up the ladder. Because making your boss's life easier, taking things off their desk, not putting them on their desk, and talking in the language and anchoring what you think to the language of, or the strategy of a leader, immediately makes you stand out from everyone else, because they go, okay, they played back what I thought was important to me. Any human will tell you that makes you lean into a conversation, right? So those two things, and then I think it becomes about initiative and drive and confidence. I wrote 3 of my job specs in that early stage. I went and said, you haven't got a head of digital, you need a head of digital. Here's a plan for why you need that. I wrote a job spec for the managing director, because there wasn't a managing director at the time, and I said, you used to have one, you don't have one anymore. It seems like a bit of a strange decision. Why is that? I then listened, went away, rewrote it, came back, and again with that second insight, wrote it in the language of the CEO and said, you told me these things mattered. I believe I can do 80% of this. The 20% I can't do, I think I can learn if you give me the support and mentoring and coaching. And my last one is surround yourself with people who can help you get better. Nobody has everything, right? I mean, I'm still, my biggest ambition every day when I wake up is to be curious and keep learning and become a better leader, to become a better parent, but also to become a better better CEO, I suppose. Like, how do I grow and develop? And whether you're 18 or you're kind of 42, you still need to have that learning, curiosity mindset every day, and have people around you, like a village of people around you that you can connect with. I think you're very good at this, where you kind of just ping out something and go, I was thinking this, could you just give me a bit of advice? And the more people you can have that add value, that are actually in your tribe, I think that's quite important. Yeah. They've got to be part of your tribe. They've got to be people that you actually do like. Yeah. Because there are lots of people that could be a mentor that actually you look at from afar and they don't really care about you. They might kind of push you something quite quickly back and go, yeah, do that, but they don't really engage with it. The people that engage and actually kind of want to help are the ones that you should spend most of your time.
And you think that how to actually grow that tribe is all around giving value to them and then actually cultivate a relationship where you both win.
Which, to be fair, I think you do exceptionally well. I mean, in the engagements we had a conversation, and you talked about some of your challenges, and I gave some stuff to you, and you gave back to me, and you followed up and said, "I'll connect you to these people." Right? It's that Americans are much better at this than Brits. They have more purposeful conversation around business. I mean, if you're in LA, or particularly, people will focus on, okay, let's have a quick conversation, get to know each other, and then let's move to how can I help you. In the UK, we'll drink lots of cups of tea in the first meeting, everyone will leave having not really got anywhere, and then we'll uncomfortably in the second or third meeting move towards, well, the reason I met you in the first place is because what I really want is this. I think actually if you do it in an engaging way, then you can move to a conversation by adding quite simple value. I heard that this was something you wanted to do better, and you did it with me. Like, you want to build your audience on LinkedIn, I can help you do that because I understand that community maybe better than you do, and you were asking me, you scale the business, what learnings have you got about scaling your business? And they're a trade-off, right? They're equally valuable. Well, I think it's a really important point actually. What you gave me is just as valuable as what I gave you. Whereas a lot of senior people, and this is where you need to distinguish between the tribe that will be valuable to you and your mentors versus those that actually are just kind of playing the game. If they think that what they're giving you, that they are much more powerful and they are giving you a lot more than you're giving them back, then they're not the right type of person to build a relationship. I don't think. The thing that I think I've learned over time is that you have to do it in a way that you're comfortable with and that works for you. You knew a lot about me before you met me. And I think that's a really valuable point. And then you just attach and anchor things back to what's important. Like you started this conversation by going, let's talk about this, and then you can talk about, which I can mention later, the other business I'm involved in, which is helping young people, right? And that's what matters to me. So I lean into the conversation immediately. Whereas if it was just about what you wanted to talk about, immediately I'm 50% there.
Yeah.
Suddenly I'm 100% with you and we're having a conversation of equal value, kind of moving both ways.
Yeah, super interesting stuff.